Resilience is the ability to persist over time.
In the Manila Bay and other bays that experience red tides, it is the marginalized that is affected in health and in economy.
The engineering is the ability to absorb, thrive, and then recover. The faster you're able to recover, the more resilient.
Sa Pilipino, ito ay katibayan at katatagan sa mahirap na sitwasyon at ang kakayahang bumangon muli.
Yung ecological naman, the ability to adapt. Yung evolutionary resilience, to really innovate and be creative.
Resilience is really being able to spring back from adversity, but it should have learning, and therefore it strengthens you to be more resilient than before the adversity came to you.
Before COVID-19, the Philippines was already on to SMT-based measures to improve its resilience capacity. With COVID, the country was awakened to the need for resilience in our economic, health, and educational status as well.
The country as a whole is, I think, not so resilient because while we have the capabilities, the opportunities, and the resources to cope with COVID-19, the whole body is suffering because the leadership and management is not working so well. When it comes to individual resilience, those who have more resources, capabilities, and opportunities will be more resilient than those who are not.
A lot of the problems really may be interconnected, You have to look at it from a holistic point of view. It encompasses more than natural sciences or physical problem, but also it gets into the ecological, biological, as well as social pa nga.
Among issues and problems we have are poverty, ecosystem destruction, climate change, and variability.
Much of our attention is placed only after the disasters happen. What we should do really is to take early action years before the hazards strike, and we should put our attention and our resources into that type of planning.
We need SMT-based transdisciplinary and inclusive approach to coping with possible hazards.
The fragmentation of society needs to be resolved for resilience.
Communication is very, very important, and we should communicate to the people using not just scientific communication means, but through arts, music, understand the mindset of the Filipino people so we can communicate better.
Well, the way to move forward is interoperability.
We have to do a lot of work as a person, as a community, and as an institution to really have resilience as one of the values of the Filipinos. Yung tunay na resilience na towards improvement.
Building resilience requires sustainability science inspired by a transdisciplinary approach.
To be sustainable, you have to be resilient. To be resilient, you have to be sustainable.
Go natural, go with nature's flow. Non-structural or natural interventions, as well as good planning, is the most sustainable.
Finally, we need to harness and strengthen the Filipino spirit of bayanihan.
Magandang hapon, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Para sa ating mga kapatid sa Luzon, mayapagat panapon, na yung bagamalam, masantos siyang aram, marahay na hapon. Para sa ating mga kapatid sa Visayas, maayong hapon, maopen niya kulop, maayong ogto. At para sa ating mga kapatid sa Mindanao, assalamualaikum, malingkat mahapon, mapiya katawa alongan, buenas tardes. Para sa ating mga panauhing banyaga, good afternoon, annyeonghaseyo, konnichiwa, salamat siyang, siyang wuhaw. Welcome po sa ating mga regular na tagapakinig at tagapanood dito sa Zoom at sa ating Facebook Live. Hello po sa inyong lahat. And first, we would like to apologize for the postponements that we had sa mga nakaraang linggo, but we are definitely back and we will bring you another informative episode this afternoon. Welcome po ulit sa ating ika-53rd episode ng the Filipino Sustainable Development Goals or SDG Action Hub. Ang lingguhang kumustahan at kwentuhan para sa maganda, maayos, mabuti at makabuluhang kinabukasan. Isa't kalahating oras na naman po ng hitik na talakayan ng mga usaping napapanood. At ngayong hapon nga po, we have another young speaker. And the title of our episode is Communicating Environmental Awareness Through Storytelling and Arts. Ang atin pong panauhin ay nagtapos ng Bachelor of Arts in Journalism cum laude sa Bulacan State University at sa kasalukuyan siya po ay nagtitake na kanyang Master in Communication degree at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. During his undergraduate years, our speaker served as the Development Communication Editor of Pacesetter, the official student publication of Bulacan State University. He also founded Bulsu Advertising Guild. Ito po ay isang school-based youth organization na naglalayong makagawa ng mga value-oriented digital campaigns. Ang ating speaker po ay isang writer, illustrator, and film director of environmental-focused materials which enabled him to advance his environmental advocacy. In his writing journey, he authored the children's storybook entitled The Flight of Bao and May, which was shortlisted as a finalist in the 45th Catholic Mass Media Awards under the Best Children's Short Story category. Sa kanya namang director experience, nakapag-direct na siya ng short films at documentaries na napabilang sa iba't ibang film festivals including Cine Republica, Cine Bulacan, Piling Obrang Video, North Luzon Film Festival, Nabunturan Film Festival, Cine Gitnang Luzon, and Cinema Region. In his professional career, our speaker worked as a media production specialist at the Philippine Climate Change Commission, wherein he continued his advocacy to mainstream science and climate action through multimedia communication. And now, he is working as a local government operations officer at the Department of Interior and Local Government. Well, wag na po natin patagalin. We know you had 2 weeks of waiting para sa ating 53rd episode this afternoon. To give us another informative and interesting talk, everyone, let us welcome the founder and executive director of eKwento PH, Sir Ronaldo Magsakay. Sir Ron, the screen is yours.
Thank you so much, Sir Paul, for the introduction po na. And good afternoon to all attendees here inside the Zoom and to all those who are watching via Facebook Live. I would like to thank the organizers for this initiative and reaching out to eKwento for us to share what are the initiatives of eKwento PH. So quickly allow me to share my screen. The topic for today is all about communicating environmental awareness through storytelling and arts. So earlier, we heard from Sir Paul my background from college up to studying communication, master in communication at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, and I worked for the Philippine Climate Change Commission, and now I'm working for the DALG. So during our discussion, we will look at how we can use storytelling and arts on effectively communicating our advocacies about the environment. So this session ay gagawin lang po nating live para mapikwentuhan lang po tayo na naging journey ko po as Executive Director of eKwento PH and how we implement those projects during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm seeing here in the Zoom young audiences and young professionals, so hopefully ay ma-inspire din yung ating mga nakikinig regardless if you're a professional, if you're a volunteer, student, or even at such a young age. Hopefully ay may matutunan kayo during this session on how we can use storytelling in effectively communicating environmental advocacies. Because later on, we will focus on how effective storytelling can be in reaching out to different kinds of audience. So just a short background about eKwento PH. Our groups started with a group of young writers, illustrators, and storytellers. All of them are volunteers of eKwento PH. We called ourselves eKwento PH because E stands for environment and Kwento stands for stories. Because in eKwento PH, we would like to use short stories, illustrations, and other multimedia content to promote awareness about regional environmental issues that impact local communities all over the Philippines. So formally, we were created on September 5, 2020, and up until now, we are still expanding as a group. So initially, we have only a few members, but now we expanded. We are now 30 as a group. We expanded our members, not just in our province, Bulacan, but we also have members from other parts of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And right now, these new members of eKwento PH will serve as our satellite members who will help us in reaching out to these areas. And we are also registered under YORP, which is under the National Youth Commission. So our group exists with 3 objectives. First, we want to establish our organization as a recognized environmental group and advocacy platform, mainstream regional environmental issues in the Philippines. Later on, you will see some examples of the outputs that we have, some outputs that we launched in the Facebook page of eKwento PH, and even the offline medium like the physical book that we released last year. Would also like to empower young aspiring artists and advocates to express their opinions and use their talents to amplify environmental issues. So just to share lang po, no, our group was formed during the COVID-19 pandemic. And during that time, all the members are thinking, what can we do during the COVID-19 pandemic? During the time that we are on severe lockdown, we are confined in our homes, and yet we're dealing with the greater and global issues like climate change, environmental problems, and such. So how can we move? How can we advocate even though we are just at our home? So this what motivated Equento in doing what we are doing right now. We started the Ikwentuhan Tayo sa Gitna ng Pandemya project during the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. So this initiative focused on promoting environmental protection and conservation through the narration of environmental theme stories to children through online and offline means. So you can see here the timeline of the project that we implemented. First, we started with e-comics that we implement from October 2020 to January 2022. And then it was followed by the e-storybook where we launched and developed a storybook for children, which later on became a finalist in the 45th Catholic Mass Media Awards. And then lastly, we implemented the Educate, and that is utilizing all the available materials that we were able to produce during the succeeding components of the stories, which is the e-comics and the e-storybooks. So during this whole long implementation of the project, we're able to target schools and local government units within coastal areas near Manila Bay. When I say Manila Bay, it's not only limited to Metro Manila, but the Manila Bay itself is also the coastal communities in Bulacan, Pampanga, and other parts that is covered by the Manila Bay. Now, you might ask why children is our beneficiaries for our project. So this is a great question, and also oftentimes being thrown to us. Number one, we are advocating for environmental advocacy at such a young age. We see this as an opportunity to teach children at such a young age. Number two, we want to teach them to form sustainable habits. We want to teach them what is the importance of recycling, what is the importance of doing all those sustainable habits at such a young age. Because if you will teach them on a later part of their life, they might already have a clear or thorough understanding on their mind. So during their prime years, we want to teach them how to be an environmentalist. And lastly, children are the next generation of leaders. These children were able to read our stories. These children are able to benefit from our project. Someday, they will be the one who will be doing policies as part of local government units, Sangguniang Kabataan, and even non-government organizations, and even in the academy. So imagine the impact of this project catering children, and what can happen after the project, where we technically they are seeds of our future. Now on the next slide, you can see the e-comics. So e-comics stands for environmental comics. So these e-comics are made by our volunteer members. The e-comics focus on relevant regional environmental issues being experienced in the Philippines. Because oftentimes when we were asked about what are the environmental issues that the Philippines is facing, we oftentimes just attribute it to plastic pollution, deforestation, and other common issues. But through e-commerce, we wanted to highlight what are the community issues that are happening on the ground that needs to be told by different storytellers. So through comics, we wanted to highlight those environmental stories that are not yet being focused. So some examples of the topics that we covered during our e-comics are coral vandalism, because one time there was a case of vandalism in Batangas, and coral takes too long for it to regrow. And number two, the illegal wildlife trade, illegal plant poaching, because during the COVID-19 pandemic, the plantita craze happened, and everyone was so eager to have their own plant at their own home without knowing that they are supporting plant poaching. Number four, the inequality experienced by farmers, solid waste management, of course, the ocean warming and rising sea temperature, illegal logging, and endangered species. So those are just some examples of the comics that we made from the past. And hopefully our audience right now in the Zoom and even on the Facebook Live, they're able to think of some issues that they wanted to explore more in the future, because this is what we are doing here in Ikwento. We divided our storytelling of e-comics into 4 clusters. Number 1 is the animal cluster, wanted to focus on the animals. Number 2, the plants, of course, and the people-related topics in the marine cluster. So these four topics are the center of our e-comics. Now, we analyze our engagement, and we're able to reach a different number of audiences online. So this statistics was based on the undergraduate thesis of Bulacan State University students, because actually before, given the impact that we are doing at the local level, our project was selected as the topic for a thesis of some students from Bulacan State University. And we also saw a diverse set of readers who are regularly liking and sharing our Facebook content. As you can see in the photo, it is a leaflet that was made, drafted by a student from Aklan State University. So he reached out to us that he was inspired by our projects. And this is what I was saying earlier, that a group of Bulacan State University students conducted a thesis about our projects. So in the end, they made a communication plan about how to improve the strategy of our organization. As just a short example of our e-comics, this is a Zoom meeting. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, we know that Zoom meeting, the use of Zoom meeting became rampant. So this was inspired by the teleconference meeting that we are doing, and we call it Zoom meeting. So basically, it's a virtual meeting of the animals from the forest. So on the skit, sabi ni Eagle, "Hello guys, naririnig niyo ba ako?" Sabi ni Turtle, "Yes, Eagle, anong agenda natin today?" Sadly, si Tiritar Shear, hindi niya marinig. Sabi niya, "Hello Chappy, ang ingay kasi rito dahil nagpuputol at nagsusunog na naman ng mga puno." So imagine, this is just a fun and creative content, but we are enlightening the issues that is happening underground. And our children and different audiences are seeing this. While they're being entertained by these arts and the kind of storytelling that we are doing, they're also informed about these issues that is happening underground. Sabi ni Eagle, "Chappy pa rin, Tiri, Tarsier. Kamustahan lang tayo, kamusta na kayo?" Sabi ni Pawikan, "Sobrang init na rito sa amin, pati ang tubig, mainit at hindi pa malinis." So si Pawikan is giving premise on the warming of ocean, and also yung pagdumi ng bodies of water. Si Tiri nauhaw na nga ako kasi puro plastic at basura na ang mga tubig dito. So imagine, this is just a short skit, and yet it covers different kinds of issues, covers different kinds of topics that as a reader, you will be enlightened what kind of situation is happening here in the not just in the Philippines, but also globally. After implementing the e-comics project, we proceeded with the e-storybook project. So the e-storybook project is the second component of our greater project, which is the Ikwentuhan Tayo sa Gitna ng Pandemic project. Basically, we develop a storybook for children, and we highlighted the impact of COVID-19 induced phase on the environment. So, during the COVID-19 pandemic, while we are all focused on surviving, we're all focused on health concerns, we neglected the existing problems that is happening around us. And that is climate change, and also the increasing waste that we generate during the time that we are inside our house. So imagine when we are in our house, everyone's doing Shopee, Lazada, everyone's doing ordering their parcel online. And imagine the amount of plastics that is generated per household. Not to mention that what are migratory birds, right? So they are from different areas that are migrating. Now we use it as an inspiration for our story, the first storybook that we had. So Bao and May are migrating here in Manila Bay in hopes of finding shelter from the winter, only to find out that their regular migration site is no longer a shelter in haven of food, but a place filled with trash caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. So this is where the dilemma will start. Bao and May thought that they can now eat freely on the regular migration site, but it was filled by face masks, it was filled by face shield, and the different types of waste that we generated during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, after finishing the book, we launched it virtually because during the COVID, we know that we are restricted from doing in-person activities. So we conducted it via Zoom and Facebook Live. Luckily, we found a partner who helped us in making this project successful. So we partnered with Greenpeace Philippines and we established a MOA with them. So this generous partner of ours provided a funding for us to publish 1,000 copies of storybook, and they also helped us in conducting the virtual launch of the book. Now, the story here is finding supportive partners who will help you implement your project that you're really passionate. Because sometimes there's a project on our mind, or there's an initiative on our mind that we really wanted to do, but we don't know where to start. We don't know who to tap. So hopefully, as you listen from the story of Equenta.ph, you can see how we started from just 10 person, now having a partnership with a funder, which is Greenpeace Philippines, and doing this kind of project. Now, during the virtual launch, we invited Miss Philippines Earth 2021, Naila Al-Shobarhi, to conduct storytelling session. Since I'm also from the government, I also use my connection to invite some of our partners, some of our resource speakers from the Department of the Environment and Natural Resources, Department of Education, Department of the Interior, and local government to provide a message during the virtual launch. So another key takeaway from that scenario is how to effectively use your connection and how to effectively seek help from other people, because the lesson here is we cannot implement a project on our own. We have to admit that we need help from different people in order to make our project more impactful and make our project resonate. So this is the webinar that we conduct. So you can see here our government leaders who attended during the event, the reactors, of course. So some reactors provided their insights during the storytelling session, and we also engage with our panelists. So here, yung mga partners natin from Greenpeace Philippines, they also conducted webinar on how to enlighten people about solid waste management. So we also have performers during the launch, and now it was attended by different attendees from the academe, environmental groups, NGOs, and government sectors. Actually, on the Facebook page, we received 3,000 views and 100 attendees on Zoom. So we don't have any idea that we can do it actually. At first, we're just a group of friends who are just passionate in doing skits, doing comics, and then later on, it's something that we never expect. And the key takeaways from the book, if you read it, is children can be agents of change, because during the story, Luningning serve as the wake-up call for their community. And family communication is important to reach our desired goal, because Lingning talked with his father, talked with his family on how to clean the coast, and how to make it livable for other living beings like Bao and Ming. Third key takeaway is that local government units play a significant role as frontliners in addressing environmental issues. So on the story, we highlighted that how our local government units will help us in implementing effective solid waste management. And lastly, multi-stakeholders engagement is really important in solving complex issues. Because you can see Luningning is just a girl. Bao and Mei are just birds. So imagine, how can you solve a complex problem through that three characters? So if you will read our story, you will find out what happened in the end. Now, the third project component is Educate. The Educate is the distribution of the printed storybooks to target schools and local government units within the Manila Bay Area and in other parts of the country. In the distribution of our storybooks, just to share with you, we don't have any fund to shoulder the shipping cost of our book to different parts of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And it was actually the recipients and the partner organizations who helped us in distributing the copies of the storybooks, because we don't have any fund, as in totally zero. The 50,000 pesos that we received for the production of the storybook was allocated only on the production of the storybook. And now the next problem is how we can distribute the 1,000 copies to reach our target beneficiaries. So in the end, it was the partners, it was the community, it was the beneficiaries who are very eager to receive copies of the storybook. They were the one who shouldered the shipping costs, especially from those who are far from our province, which is Bulacan. So just to share with you, here are some of the beneficiaries who received copies of the storybook. So we have barangays, elementary schools, high schools, and even cities. Tahanang Mapagkalinga. So this is for children. And then lastly, we were able to provide copies to different representatives from UN Women, UK Mission to ASEAN, and USA. So here are some pictures of Barangay Santo Tomas receiving copies of the storybook. Barangay Matimbo, Malolos, Bulacan, Marcelo H. Del Pilar National High School. So these copies of the storybook that we distributed in the past, the schools and the local government units are using it for their own projects. Like, for example, on high schools, they have BSOs. I think they have BSO club. So they're using it on their environmental projects, and then they're using it as well on storytelling sessions. And here you can see the representative from the Women for UN when I went to Indonesia, USA, UK mission to ASEAN. And some partners are also requesting from us technical assistance and inspirational message on how we can do it successfully. So here are some examples. So definitely, when we receive requests from different organizations, different schools, we teach them how to draft an e-comics, how to create the story, how to narrate the story, and how to make appealing characters. So those are the examples that we use. And also, the PT before requested us to guest on the Rise and Shine Pilipinas to feature the newly published Light of Bao and May. And yeah, you can see some schools even doing it on their own initiative. They just request for the copies of the recording, and if we are not available, they will just play the copy of the recording for them to listen actually how we can use or we can do storytelling and arts to promote environmentalism. The latest initiative that we had is last time we are in the Quezon City Hall for their 2023 Plastic Free Youth Forum. So it was attended by different sectors, and we're very thankful actually for those who are supporting up to now Equine to PH, and for those who are very much inspired to what we are doing. Now, as for the community feedback and impression, we received heartfelt messages from different beneficiaries. Like here you can see the compiled handwritten messages from elementary students of Malibo Bata Elementary School. So they just kind of wrote down a short reflection about the storybook and what are the key takeaways from the story. So I think they are grade 4 students or grade 5. And if you will read the handwritten letter of appreciation, they're very thankful for the simple material that they receive. And you can see that they learn a lot from the story. Like for example, here, a handwritten letter of appreciation from a student from Marcelo H. Del Pilar National High School. She said that, "Hi and good morning, afternoon or evening, Mr. Ronaldo Magsakay. I am blank from 7-5 and I am one of the students. Anyway, about the book or the story, the English teacher gave me this Flight of Bao and May. First of all, the title is common, but it's still great. And the artwork is also great. This story relates in real life. And if I'm going to be honest, this whole story that you compose is amazing. From me, who isn't a story maker or writer, this inspires me like a lot. Just now, it made me realize how horrible as humans are and how we thought of ourselves only. Basically, we are selfish, and that is true that humans caused this pandemic to happen, not only COVID, but pollution, climate change, and other more viruses. Probably you inspire lots of people with your composes and hopefully realize everything about what is going on with the world right now. I'm sorry if I kinda sound judgmental, but lots of people are proud of you, to be honest." So imagine a student writing those thoughtful and insightful reflection about the story. And it's more personal if it's story compared to actually lecturing them. Because when we just lecture them technical information, the tendency is they will be overloaded with information or the delivery is not appropriate for their age. So really you have to look and strategize how can you communicate with those people or your target audience on how to make your message across. Now, here is the video reaction from a student beneficiary and a TikTok influencer You can watch it through bit.ly Ikwento video reaction. So in the interest of time, I will skip that part. And just to share, we made it until the expert screening, but ex- expert screening qualifiers of the 10 accomplished youth organization awards. And then not just recently, uh, we we were declared as a finalist in the 45th Catholic Mass Media Awards for the storybook The Flight of Bao and Me. So this is under the Best Children's Short Story category. Now, if I will wrap up the story from the creation of Equento PH to the implementation of our project components from e-comics, e-comics, e-storybook, and educate, you can see what are the clear impact on the project of the project on stakeholders. So even though we are limited by the restrictions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, we're able to find a way on how to connect with them. So that is through social media. Right now, most people are delved into social media, so it's very strategic to use social media as a way to advocate for environmental protection. And also, number two, you can see how we harness the spirit of volunteerism and citizenship. So mainly, our story is all about the involvement of the community. You can see how our humble organization started from only 10 people to making it as a 30 people with few more informal members who are basically at our back and supporting us, giving us the technical and the financial support, and also the spirit of volunteerism from those volunteer writers, volunteer artists who render their service for free. Because, making a story, drawing a skit, drawing a storybook really takes a lot of time. And the fact that they allot their time for free, they give it for free, it's something else because that there's a passion within them that they really wanted to help on this initiative. And on the part of of the beneficiaries, we're able to mobilize them, like the barangays. You can see how the barangays reach out to us just for them to use it on their environmental projects, the schools, the ESO organizations, even those from the outside of our province, outside Bulacan. So from the Magete, from Visayas, from Mindanao, even the other parts of Luzon, they are requesting copies of the book. And even now, they are still requesting it, even that we already depleted 1,000 copies of our storybook. So basically, we are just giving them PDF copies of the storybook, and they use it for their future initiative. So we just share with them that there's a kind of restriction on the publication, especially the book is not intended for publication. Number three is the creativity and innovation. You can see how we use new technologies, how we use different approaches like creative arts, creative storytelling on how to promote or advance our environmental advocacies. And lastly, you learn about how we effectively use our resources. Our financial resources is zero. Our network is wide, and we have a lot of local supporters. Then we use it on our own advantage. So with that, I would like to thank everyone for their kind attention, for inviting Ikwento PH to this webinar. And hopefully, yung pinagkwentuhan natin earlier, it's not just about telling the accomplishments of Ikwento, but actually teaching what we learn on the process of implementing it, so that you can also duplicate it on your own. Because I know most of you listeners are leaders of your own as well, or some of you are thinking of how and where should they start if they wanted to do something. So basically, just do it, and gather your people with the same mindset as you to help you implement it. And then the rest will follow, like partners, supporters, and then in the end, you will be recognized like Equent-PH, like the Catholic Mass Media Awards or anything else. So with that, I would like to thank you everyone, and I would like to end with our quote na, para sa planeta, para sa kalikasan, magkwento tayo. And we hope you were inspired by our story. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much po, Sir Ron, for the presentation. Ayan. To our analysts and our attendees, open na po ang ating floor for questions. Do we have questions? And for our attendees, please use the Q&A box, both for your questions and your comments. And actually, may tanong tayo from Facebook Live while they're preparing. Unahin ko rin sa Facebook Live. So this is from Sir Louis J. Balangkit. So he's asking, do you have video contents po? What you're doing is somehow similar on what I have watched on FB Reels of a particular organization, but I forgot its name. However, their contents are about skits of animated animals and their distinct characteristics and behaviors. On these videos, the animals are portraying humanly activities such as talking to a partner or a friend, but the twist is that they too express the behavior of that animal, and it's entertaining and educating at the same time. Sir Ron?
Thank you so much, Sir Louie. No, that's a very interesting idea. Actually, our projects is only limited to still images first. The TikTok and videos is on the next part of our project. We're just strengthening or capacitating our members how to make comics first before we transform into something more complicated. And right now, we receive different entries from our new members because we required our new members to practice how to make e-comics. So this is one of the not requirement, but it's one of the prerequisite in their journey as Equent-PH. But definitely we will explore the use of animation, the use of to make videos, to make animated characters, because this is what the audience or children will like.
Thank you very much, Sir Ron. May questions po ba tayo from our panelists?
Yeah.
Yes po, Sir Cesar. You're recognized po.
Ronald, binabati kita sa mga pioneering at pangunahing gawain ng ikwento. Ang mga tanong ko, kasi on and off ako, pauwi ako, tapos nasa bahay ako. So ang mga tanong ko, either dahil hindi ko nakuha yung first part ng presentation mo. Okay, anyway. Ganito, meron ba kayong parang membership wherein yung mga kabataan pwedeng sumali? Para sa ganoon, patuloy ang ugnayan ninyo. Hindi lamang kung minsan nabigyan nyo sila ng libro, pero tinitignan din nyo. Kasi pag may membership, kung ano mga activities nila. So nakadikit yun, membership and activities. Nakikita ko dalawa rin ang communication skills, ikwento, at saka ang audience, ang kabataan. Bukas din ba kayo to expand using your skills sa ikwento and the like to adults? Okay? To adults. And siguro third is form an advisory adult group. Okay? Yung bang ikwento, registered na kayo or is it still an informal? You registered and said, okay. And finally, both yung kabataan at kayo, have you thought through, let's say, yung career ninyo? Kasi this cannot just be volunteerism. Ang nakikita ko, kailangan at the very least start with a small staff to handle and all that. So, pag-isipan din nyo yung career ninyo going into the future. And my last point is, mag-isip kayo paano kumita ng pera. Paano kumita ng pera. Kasi kung titignan nyo sa internet, may mga masterclass may mga various groups offering masterclass, pero nag-uumpisa sila ng libre. May libreng 1 hour or may libreng talk. After that, masterclass na. Kung gusto mo nang mag-masterclass, may bayad na yan. So, yun ang mukhahi ko, no? So, yun lamang. Pero maganda at binabati ko kayo sa mga pangunahing gawain ninyo. Salamat.
Thank you so much po, Sir Cesar. No? Sobrang gaganda po nung mga tinanong na question ni Sir Cesar. Actually, nagkaroon po ako ng idea dun with the master class. So hopefully we can do it soon. Yung tanong po ni Sir Cesar if we are registered. Yes po, just this year, we are registered under your or Youth Organization Registration Program, the National Youth Commission. So as your members, you will enjoy some benefits like accessing trainings under the National Youth Commission or using the collaterals of your organization. So, kung meron po dito na mga organizations then from the Zoom or from the Facebook page who wanted to learn how to register their organizations. Kasi some organizations po are clueless on how to register their organization. Pero mabilis lang po talaga mag-register sa National Youth Commission. So you just have to browse it to the Google and then meron ng mga documentary requirements like yung barangay certificate that your org is existing. So we really encourage yung mga attendees natin kung hindi pa kayo registered, hopefully you can register in the future because madami ring benefits for you and your organization. Yung number 2 po na question ni Sir Cesar is yung na-recall ko sir no yung question about the career. So mention ko lang po na yung good thing about E20PH is it also help advance the career of our volunteers. Kasi po yung gumawa ng aming storybook, yung nag-illustrate ng storybook na sinulat ko po, si Nel, right now she is selling her personal book din po through Amazon. So natuto siya through E20PH on how to make storybook. And aside from doing it voluntarily, nakagawa din po siya ng personal book na on her own and she is selling it on Amazon. So kapag mayroong mga trainings or mga invitations from us, pinapadala po natin yung mga members natin para sila din matuto din sila doon sa how to use communication, how to use different kinds of communication strategies. And then another question po ni Mr. Cesar is about
Membership. Meron ba kayong membership catchment?
Yes, membership. Apo. Just this September 2023, we closed our membership po for E20PH, but we will call for second batch of membership kasi madami pa pong humahabol. So actually, si Sir Paul po is our new member sa E20PH. So actually, nakapag-publish na rin si Sir Paul ng kanyang sariling e-comics doon din po sa aming Facebook page. So really, E20PH is all about growing as a group, growing together and teaching others how to effectively communicate to technical information to children and not just to children but also to youth. Kasi kanina natanong din po ni Sir Cesar if limited lang ba sa children yung ating project. So initially, so yung ating mga design for children pero yung mga tinuturo naman po natin is hindi lang siya limited for children. Natututo din po yung mga teachers na gumagamit ng ating mga materials. Natututo din yung mga youth organizations na nangihingi sa atin ng mga advice, yung mga workshop, ganyan po. So that is what E20 is doing po.
Ronald, follow up lamang, baka you can have an associate membership category. So yung mga individuals na mga bata, maaaring hindi sila interesado matuto magkwento, pero sabay-sabay kayong tumatanda at nalalaman yung ginagawa nila for the environment. Ganun din yung mga beneficiary groups nila. Baka you can have an associate membership for the beneficiaries group, then magkwentuhan. Yan, that's it. Thank you.
That's a good idea po, sir. Duly noted po na masterclass and associate membership category. So I also learned a lot from this webinar. Thank you so much po, Sir Cesar.
Thank you very much po, Sir Cesar. Yes po, Academician Ruben, you're recognized po.
Good afternoon po, Sir Ruben. Nakamute ka po, sir.
Nakamute pa po. Ayan po.
Can you hear me now?
Yes po.
Okay. Well, first of all, pagbati sa grupo ninyo, Ronald, ang ganda-ganda ng inyong ginawa. Biglang sumariwa sa aking isipan na nung aking kabataan, ang nakikita ko lang mga ganyang uri ng comics ay si Ken Koy at saka Kalabog and Bosyo. Siguro yung mga parents ninyo alam yon. But the depth of what you are doing is of course much different. Alright, having said that, yung mga payo ni Cesar ay payo ko rin sa inyo na yun mas papapabuti kayo kapag gagawin yung mga payo ni Cesar na napakagaganda. Okay, ang aking isang pakiusap kung hindi pa ninyo nagagawa ay maybe relate with the Boy Scout of the Philippines. Dahil ang inyong mga messages, yan ay nakalagay doon sa panatang ng mga Boy Scout. Sa madaling salita, yan ay kung makakakunik kayo sa Boy Scout, mapapabilis pa ang pagpapalaganap ng inyong mga adhikain para sa ating bansa. So again, Boy Scout of the Philippines, madaling kumunik yan. Pagka nakakunik kayo, I think we will go much further. Again, thank you very much and God bless you all. Okay.
Academician Ruben, Girl Scouts din. Girl Scouts din.
Oh, Girl Scout, I'm sorry.
Girl Scout as
Boy
well.
Scout and Girl Scout of the Philippines.
Thank you so much po, Sir Ruben. And totoo po kasi na-realize ko po, Sir Ruben, marami pala kami mga new members po na teachers from the DepEd. So hopefully they can help us as well to enter yung realm of Boy Scout and Girl Scout. Thank you so much po, sir.
Susunod siguro. Not this time. Later on, we can plan for a project naman ito tungkol naman sa encouraging home gardening. At sa pamamagitan ng karikature na ginawa ninyo, palagi ko mapapabilis ang paglaganap ng pagtatanim ng gulay sa mga bakuran at sa mga kanayunan. At sa city proper, I volunteer to assist on that. But we can set time so that we can meet on a person-to-person basis. Thank you.
Thank you po, Sir Ruben. Maganda din po yan yung sa project on home gardening. So hopefully makagawa po kami ng future material about po dyan and makakonect po kami with the DOST and the DLG. Kasi parang si DLG naglabas din po kami ng latest memorandum circular on, ang tawag po ay HAPAG, parang Halina at HAPAG project po. So parang encouraging barangays to promote yung home gardening. So hopefully makapag-connect po tayong tatlo para kami po yung gagawa ng materials and magamit po ng DOST in the future. God bless you po, sir.
Tanong naman kayo sa NAS kung ano yung aking mga contact details.
Yes po. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much po, Akad Ruben, for those comments. Doc M, may questions or comments po ba tayo? Or from our other panelists pa po and our attendees, you can still send your questions. Wala pa po ba tayong other questions from the panelists? Kung wala pa po, ako Sir Ron, ako yung... yes po, Ma'am Luli.
Oo, good afternoon. Medyo
Kailan
una
pa
huli, pero nadinig ko naman yung kasi nanggaling pa ako sa ibang meeting. Hanga ako talaga dito sa effort sa ginagawa nyo, itong initiative nyo na itong paggagawa ng tulad ni Academician Ruben nung bata ko mahilig din ako magbasa ng magtitingin sa mga comics. Hindi ba? Yun ang usong-uso yan nun Ang daming mga istorya na talagang inaabangan natin yan pag sa comics. So ito, palagay ko yung mga bata ngayon, instead na puro sa yung i-copies lang, na gano'n, makakatingin sila yung dati nating gawi na nagbabasa ng comics. At saka, yung mga taong doon sa mga lugar na wala naman mga internet,
Yes.
yan magiging napakahusay nito. Tulad ng, saka yung mga topics, yung mga suggestions nga ni Mr. Cesar Gomez at ni Ruben Villarreal, ay napakainam para pati yung mga linkage pa with other groups. And the way you yung mga pag-encourage ng mga bata. Alam nyo, meron din pakakako itong mga ganito at saka yung mga ginagawa rin naman nila nung ating mga musicians tulad nila Joey Ayala. Pero pwedeng i-combine yung mga yan yung tungkol sa composing ng music, tapos may comics, mapagkama-sama yan para mas mag-enjoy mga bata dito sa natututunan nila at yung pagbibigay ng yung bang matuto sila ng mabuting ugali, yung tamang values na hindi kung ano-anong mga false news and saka maling prinsipyo ang natututunan. So I salute your group dito sa inyong ginagawa.
Thank you so much po, ma'am, for your kind messages po to Ikwento. And we're also so much inspired din po after meeting you, yung ating mga panel, for sharing your appreciation. It appears po na we're on the right track of our project. So maraming salamat po for inviting us and also for believing in Ikwento.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Luli. Yes po, Doc Ev, you're recognized po.
Sorry po, medyo late akong pumasok dahil speaker ako sa isang scientific seminar. So hindi ko buong narinig yung topic. Pero kwentuhan ito para sa mga bata. So are you planning to have it sa
Wala.
Tagalog, Filipino, English?
Yes po, Doc M. Yung question po ni Doc M, kung meron tayong i-release na Filipino version po ng Light of Bow and Bee. Meron na po kaming ready transcript ng Filipino version ng The Light of Bow and Bee. Right now po, naghahanap na lang po kami na kung meron po kaming prospect din na mag-support ng publication para kasi madami pa po talagang mga schools na nagre-request po sa amin na hindi po namin ma-cater. Pero in the event po na wala po, I mean, it's impossible to publish again. We can definitely issue po digital copy na Filipino version naman po no ating Flight of Bow and Bee na naging finalist po sa CM. Lamang po at maraming salamat.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you din po, Sir Doc.
Thank you very much po, Doc M. Final call po for our panelists and attendees sa mga questions nila.
Isa lang.
Okay, pwede pa ba? Paul?
Call mo na po. Si Aka de Ruben po. Yes, Aka de Ruben.
Age before the...
Iho, kaya ko na bakit ibon ang ginawa niyong main character?
Kaya po ibon yung pinag-stick po namin as main character po. Para ibang perspective din sa children na parang mayroong on the part of the reader, ma-realize din nila na hindi lang ang environmental protection ay laban sa tao, kundi marami ding affected. Buong biodiversity ay affected. Kapag hindi naging healthy yung environment natin, apektado yung ibon, mga isda, halaman, yung dagat, at yung mga lahat po. So, kaya po ang naging inspiration namin para hindi lang siya human focus yung story natin, kundi it's a biodiversity focused story. Kaya po siya siguro mas naging effective dahil mayroong representation ng bata, may representation ng animals, meron ding representation ng mga change makers like LGUs doon po sa story.
Kaya ko na itanong Iho yun dahil yung panahong una ang nakikita ko ang lumalabas halimbawa 2 uod at saka yung dalawang ibang hindi yung third na pinakita ninyo tulad ng mga pitlo yung mga ganon. That's why I got interested. Pero ano yung motivation na ginamit niyo yung ibong yun? Thank you.
Thank you po, sir.
Yes po, Sir Cesar.
Isang pahabol na lang, Ronald, no? Malaki ang ginagawa nyo para sa kamalayan, awareness. Siguro ang next step is paano pagkilos? How's the involvement? So, tignan din nyo siguro yun, no? Baka isipin na sapat na malaman ng bata na mas po yan, wala pang magagawa. Pero sa tingin ko, next step is when do you expect involvement mula sa kabataan? Yan lang.
Thank you po, Sir Cesar. No? So, right now po, yung parang nagiging implementing arm po namin since nagsimula po kami sa county, yung naging implementing arm po namin yung mga school organizations po, like yung mga YESO na ginagamit ng mga teacher. So, parang naging dun pa lang po yung napasok po namin. Pero definitely, since nagluluwag na po hindi na po limited yung katulad dati na parang nasa loob na tayo ng bahay during COVID-19 pandemic. Mas free na tayo to implement projects. So definitely we will explore po yan like yung mga makapag-request po tayo ng mga free siblings and hopefully mag-gather yung mga team members po na Equenta PH and ma-involve din po even not just Equenta PH but it's also a involvement of different initiatives po that are looking forward to create an impact to their community. Yan po, sir. Thank you po.
Thank you very much po, Sir Cesar. Before we go, we have one question po sa Q&A. Basahin ko lang, Sir Ron. So, from Miss Jane Reyes. This is a very welcome option to divert the enormous time young people have on their hands to more science-based knowledge-gaining activities, which embedded the artistic acumen and literary work. That is, it is like bridging and combining the right and the left brain. Where can we invite you and your group?
Thank you po. No? So, before we end po itong short webinar, i-plug lang po namin yung group. So, pwede nyo pong i-browse yung Equenta PH sa Facebook page. Through that, makikita nyo po yung mga pinapublish po namin in the past para magkaroon po kayo ng idea and how can you replicate it. And pwede nyo rin po akong i-message sa Facebook para mag-guide din po kayo if you're interested. I am Ron Magsakay. So pwede po kayo mag-message po sa Equenta PH Facebook page and then sa Facebook po sa akin, Ron Magsakay po. And kung hindi po ako available, madami po tayo mga members who are really, really passionate in providing assistance to everyone. So most of us are providing it for free. Kaya kung wala po kayong mga fund, baka po na may mga interested mag-invite tapos parang naisip nila ay wala kami pang honorary. It's okay because our passion naman po is to really help you in replicate what we are doing. Yun lamang mo at maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, Sir Ron. And this has been another amazing and informative afternoon. And yun po, nasend din po namin kanina yung link ng Facebook page ng Ikwento PH so you can browse more information regarding the organization and makita na rin yung publications na nagawa ng mga members and ng volunteers. And we would like to thank again everyone, our panelists and our attendees. At nasa Q&A box na po ang ating link for the evaluation form if you want your e-certificates. And we would, that concludes our 53rd episode. Maraming salamat po sa mga nakasama natin this afternoon and we hope to see you again next week. So thank you very much, stay safe and next week po ulit ang ating kwentuhan. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much po to our panel. Thank you so much po. And Dr. Ben.
Siguro mga alas 5 alis na.
Thank you very much po.
Thank you, Sir Paul. Thank you po, Nats and Future Earth Philippines. Have a great day.
Thank you, Sir Ron.